Hi, it's Lori. I wanted to talk about something a little different today. It does have to do with manifesting, with creating the life that you want, but it's more on a physical level, I guess. Are you being authentic? Are you your authentic self? Have you even lost track of your authentic self? Do you know who you are anymore? So often, I hear it every day. I talk to clients every day and I hear every day, well, I can't say that because they might think this, or I have to, dress a certain way, and don't get me wrong, if you like to dress a certain way, if you like to always look like, if your clothes have to be expensive, if that's the way you choose, that's okay. But if you're doing it because you feel like, and it is true in this world today, if you don't fit the mold, a lot of people are going to just shun you. You could be brilliant. You could be absolutely brilliant. You could be the kindest person in the world. But, if you're wearing a $2 pair of jeans from Goodwill, and don't get me wrong, you can find some really nice stuff at Goodwill, but you know what I'm saying. If you don't fit the part, if you can't afford to go out and get your hair done, your nails done, you're, at the spa every week. And I have some clients who look down upon, I mean, they even look at me, and because you know what? I am totally down to earth. I used to have a closet full of shoes. I used to have a blazer for every outfit, every purse, every pair of shoes matched, all of that. I liked it. I liked to look that way. But you know what? Was that really me? And you know what really, I'm telling you, it pisses me off. Excuse the language, but it pisses me off that how the world treats people. I watched a video the other day about a homeless man. This man brought me to tears because I guarantee he's probably a harder worker than 9/10 of the people that were making fun of him. But people would walk by and say, get a job. And let me tell you something, coming from somebody who has been down that road, how do you go to a job interview when you can't look nice because you don't own anything except for what you've been sleeping in the last week or so? How do you get a job if you don't have an address or a phone number? You can't even collect welfare without an address, I think. I'm not sure about that. But, you get to so low and society just pushes you down and pushes you down and pushes you down. But not even on that level. Let's go even a little bit later. People become who they want the world, who they think the world wants them to be. So you go to, and of course you're going to have your best foot forward. I'm not saying don't have your best foot forward and walk around looking like a slob and all of that. That's not what I mean. But who are you? What do you care about? What's important to you? If you've been shunned by society, if you've been dumped on, then chances are you are hiding your authentic self. If you've been hurt and wounded, raped, I deal with a lot of rape victims or victims of domestic violence, and those are some of the toughest people I've ever met. And they might have this hard exterior, and they act like they hate men or whatever, and they don't. They're hurt. They're very hurt. They're wounded, and if you can get them down to their authentic self and they break, then they become these beautiful people again. Some people stay in that. It maybe your authentic self is a jerk. I don't know. But I think the closer we get to God, the more and the only way to get close to God is surrender. You need to surrender. And we've all been through something, whether it's child abuse, whether it's um, rape, domestic violence, poverty, heartache, grief, if you've lost somebody really close to you, whatever the case may be. There's so many illness, all different things that happen with people. We've all got a story. Everybody's got a story. But yet, 9 out of 10 people walk around with this mask on, and the mask changes depending on what situation you're in. And we get so lost in that we don't even know how to take the mask off. We don't know how. So when we get into our meditation practice or our prayer practice or um, whatever the case may be, when we get into that, we aren't our authentic self. We can't even break it down to what we really want. We hide secrets about who we really are, even to the Lord. Well, let me tell you, He knows, okay? And we know that He knows, but sometimes it's so hard to even talk about it or to come clean to say, yeah, I really was putting on a show there, or whatever the case may be. It's so difficult for us to do that. So then we never reap the full benefit of what God has in store for us. Because if we can't be authentic to Him, we can't manifest what we truly want. Instead, everything is circular. Energy goes in circular motion. So if you have soul wounds, deep soul wounds that are creating these masks, if that's why you're doing it, you're going to keep calling to yourself anything that is going to verify to you and authenticate to you that mask. Okay, so, and that soul wound. So say you are so lost that one of your soul wounds is unworthiness, so you do everything you can to prove your worth everywhere you go. And what happens is situations and people keep coming into your life. It's on a cycle. We're all on a cycle. Some people on slower cycles, some people on faster cycles, that will prove to you that you're right, that you aren't worthy. Does that make sense to you? So we got to break it down. We got to get down to who we truly are. So again, it's a little exercise, and maybe the first time you do it, you want to take some time, but all of the stuff I tell you, you can do quickly. But what I want you to do is kind of get into that state, take some deep breaths. If you can hold your breath for 4 seconds at least. And then release. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit longer if you can, a little bit shorter if you can't. Do that several times. And then I like to actually lift my vibration up, lift it up, and bring it down. And even it out all around you. Bring down a protective shield. Now at this point, your heart rate is slower. You're in a place, you can do this very quickly if you're out and about, if you're at work, run in the bathroom. If you're in the car, don't close your eyes while you do it, but you can still do it. You can calm yourself down. And I just want you to look at yourself. I want you to take away everything. Take away your job, your husband, your friends, everything. Just look at this person in this room all by herself or himself. What's the shame? What don't you want people to see? Now it's only you looking. What don't you want people to see? Whatever that, and I don't want you to dwell on it. I just want you to observe it, notice it, and then I want you to take it from her or him. Take it and throw it away. Even if you have to, sometimes it's so stuck, you have to pull it off and throw it away. And then I want you to think of a really happy time. Happy time, it could go all the way back 20 years. If you haven't had one in a long time, there's got to be at least one moment in your life where you felt happy. I want you to take that, and I want to know why. Just observe it. Why were you happy? What was it? Was somebody loving you? Were you in the position you wanted to be in? What was it? What's your passion? So I want you to take your passions and I want you to stick them on there, on this person. Oh, you got all these good qualities, your passions. What are your passions? What is it that you desire? Okay. And it doesn't, you know what? Don't make anything up. It seems to, even for ourselves, we try to be who we think we should be. Okay. I want you to be completely 100% honest. Nobody's looking but you. Okay. What is it? Who are you? Are you angry? Are you happy? And when you come out of this, I just want you to, if you can, if you're in a position where you can write it down. And you want to let go of all the negatives. So if something comes up and it's negative, you want to let it go. But before you come out of this, I want you to just, one more time, that person in the room, send her some love or send him some love. As much love as possible. Our eternity is the most important thing but we don't put enough value on it. We won't pay for people like me, or we won't even put time investments into it. How many people will say, oh, I wanted to do that seminar, or I wanted to, whatever, and I just couldn't make it. I was tired, or the weather was bad, or I just didn't feel like it. And if it's paid, well, I didn't have the money for it. But yet you'll pay for whatever. I mean, if you look at your finances, if you could write down in one day or one week what you spend your money on, how much of it is really for you? How much of it, you might think, oh gosh, I can't spend that chunk of money. But then you look and you've spent that on maybe your car, maybe, whatever it is. Okay. Take care of you. We have to be our authentic selves. Imagine if everybody was walking around their authentic self, their raw, authentic self. And that doesn't give us a right to be like nasty to anybody. If there is a negative in there, that's when you have to go back and you got to heal it. Because you know what? When you work on the soul wounds, and if it's anger and bitterness, you got to let that go. Forgiveness and gratitude is going to take care of that. If it's a deep wound, if somebody's hurt you, like raped you, or domestic violence, or messed around with your kids, or stole from you, or cheated on you, lied to you, whatever, that can create a soul wound. So you want to go backwards. If you admit that it's there, then that's half the battle. Now you go backwards and you can heal it. And after you heal it, when those people or those events or whatever comes around to authenticate or to verify that you are that soul wound, you are already aware that that's what's happening, and that it's a negative thing, and you can block it out. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to talk some more about authentic self and about healing soul wounds. I do have a class and program coming up on that, and it all leads back to creating the life that you want to have. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. All right.